Okay, it's 6:30. We'll start the October 13th meeting of the Oceano Advisory Council. We'll begin with the roll call of council members. Vice Chair Dury.
Here.
Secretary Villa.
Here.
Council member Casalnuovo.
Looks like she's having audio. Oh, there she is.
Okay, well, she's here. You'll need to unmute yourself, Lucia.
I have to tell you, I have been sick all day. My back's been hurting. So if you see me getting up, it's because I have to.
Okay, thank you. Council member Ernst is someplace having fun in Europe.
Another country.
and Chair Charles Varney is here. Let me see. So, all right. Next item is the flag salute. Please join me. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any public comment for items that are not on the agenda this evening? If so, please raise your hand. If you're joining by phone, please press *6. You can raise your hand by going down to the reactions face at the bottom of your screen. Click on it and click on the raise hand button. Okay, yes, Mr. Johnson, please unmute yourself.
Good evening. I'm not sure this is so much a comment as a question, and this may not be the right forum, so please feel free to tell me so. Regarding road maintenance here in Oceano, contacted the county about some really nasty potholes and was told to contact the Oceano Community Services District, who I contacted, who told me to contact the county. And so I'm just wondering, is there like a secret sauce here that I'm not aware of, or is this even appropriate to discuss here?
Well, it's a very appropriate question to bring to us, Mr. Johnson. And the county is responsible for road maintenance and repair in Oceano, unless it's Highway 1, and then it's Caltrans responsibility.
Gotcha. So there seems to be some confusion out here on the Strand, I guess, with who's responsible for these roads, because according to OCSD, they don't do any kind of road maintenance of any kind anywhere. So, okay, I guess I'll just keep kind of going around in a circle and see if I can find somebody at the county.
Okay, so at the county, you want to go to the Public Works division.
That's who I spoke with.
Talk with Josh Roberts, the division for transportation.
That's
very
exactly
good.
Who I was going to say as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Varney. I appreciate that.
Keep us posted on what you find out, Mr. Johnson.
I sure will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none. We don't have any guest reports tonight. We do have a presentation from Megan LeBlanc, who's the PTA president at Oceano Elementary School. And she's going to be telling us about an event that's going on at Oceano Elementary School and what the PTA is up to this year. So Megan, great to have you with us. Thanks for coming. It's all yours.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk today, Charles. I appreciate it. I'm sharing my screen. I hope that's okay. I made a quick few slides because I have a lot of pictures to share. So my name's Megan LeBlanc. I am the president of the PTA, as Charles said, and I just wanted to talk about some of the programs that we're working on this year. I was the treasurer for the last 2 years, and it was a piece of cake because we were in a pandemic and we did absolutely nothing. So it was it was super easy. So this year we want to get out into the community, and we just want people to know that we're here and we've got stuff going on. And I hope you guys can share this information of things that we need help with. So I will just get into it. So we have 2 big projects happening this year. The first one being a Safe Routes to School program. A committee was formed in the summer with the goal of increasing pedestrian commutes, bikes, scooters, skateboards, whatever it takes to get kids to school that's in ways that are not vehicles. And it also kind of has a added interest of improving some of the bottlenecks around campus and improving some of the pedestrian safety in general. So this is the entrance to 19th Street, you know, in the mornings, kids are jaywalking because there's no sidewalk or there's no crosswalk there. We try to get people to slow down. They don't always slow down. There's only one dedicated crossing guard, and then there's a few volunteers as well. We always need more. And if you've been down 19th Street, you know that they're on the east side, there's no sidewalk for most of it. And the same thing for 17th Street, there's no sidewalk for the west side. And down past the library is our preschool. And in the mornings, that becomes kind of a bottleneck because kids are coming and going over there. And that's also not the best sidewalk situation. There's no stop sign here. So the goals for our Safe Routes to School committee are really to increase biking and walking. We're having dedicated biking and walking days to school each month. Yesterday was our second one. It was a great turnout. We have volunteers on campus in this club from the 6th graders called Dude Be Nice, and they are there to monitor people coming in, make sure that they're not lying, they didn't come in a car, and they get little incentives like, you know, pencils, they can get stickers and things like that, granola bars. The Bike Slow County donated a dozen really nice bike helmets to us, so we're going to use those as prizes as well. And we would love to have something like a walking school bus or one of those bike posses that everybody comes together on a bike on the same time. We had a teacher for years who was doing this. He was awesome, but he retired. He's working with us on the Safe Routes to School committee, but he doesn't have like the time to be on campus every day educating kids about this stuff. But so we would like to see some help with that if possible. And then we really want to improve pedestrian safety just in general in 2 different ways. SLO County Office of Government does offer like training sessions. They'll take the kids through a PE class and teach them pedestrian safety and bike safety. And so we're going to take advantage of that this year. They won a bike rodeo, so there's going to be all kinds of like bikes on campus. They bring a trailer full of bikes and helmets, and they teach the kids that haven't ridden before how to ride. And there's a whole bunch of cool stuff that they do. So education is important, also infrastructure. So the PTA is very supportive of the idea of more sidewalks and pathways around town to get to school. The PTA is like, you know, it's a nonpartisan organization, but we're definitely interested in things that benefit our students, and sidewalks around campus is a huge deal. Sidewalks, you know, we've interviewed parents and they say we'd love to send our kids to school by foot, but we're worried about them not walking on sidewalks. And that's just not something that is awesome to hear. So we do need volunteers if possible. The next meeting of the Safe Routes to School committee is on the 28th at 5:30 in the cafeteria. We'd love to see more faces there. There's a core group of people that attend, and the more the merrier. The more ideas, the more volunteers, the better we can do. So that's one of our main goals. Do you guys have questions at this point? You just interrupt me. No? Okay. The second thing that we're interested in doing is working on campus beautification. So last year, the PTA put in the fence decorations along 19th Street. We're really proud of it. From what I've heard, the kids are really proud of it. They really like looking at it and seeing it. But on the other side of campus, you may have noticed there's some walls that are exposed that had some painting on them many, many years ago, and it doesn't look fantastic. This building in the forefront is actually under construction right now, and that's going to get painted over with just a plain white wall. And then the one up the hill a little bit further has some more developed kind of waves painted. But we would like to see that improved. Mrs. Johnson, specifically our principal, has brought this up. It's something that she would like to see, and I think it's a great idea. Previously, before the kinder and sixth grade buildings went in, there was a handball court and it had a really cute mural of dolphins on the bricks there. One of the teachers actually painted that. That's my son. It's been a long time. If you know what my son looks like, he doesn't look like that anymore. And around town, we have some beautiful murals, and we would love to see something like this on our campus. So you all have obviously have seen Chachos. There is an organization out of Pismo that, well, they're kind of a national organization, but there's a painter that resides in Pismo. He did Slim Dilly Dogs. He did a bunch of the electrical boxes around Grover, and he's doing a really cool one at the Boba Tea Place in Pismo right now. I've been in contact with Artslow County, and I've been in contact with someone for the Mural Equity Project. They're putting up 10 murals in Atascadero for low-income communities. And so they're going to work with us a little bit on how to get this kind of project happening at Oceano. So we're really excited about it. So the PTA needs, this is where I come to you with our needs. We do need volunteers. That's our number one thing. If you are a classified employee, retired, or retired teacher, there's a program called We Love Educators, weloveeducators.org. Oceano is a pilot school, and there's a couple other schools in the CMR, and they are looking for retired teachers to work in the classroom and do more, not just sort of supervisory things, but like one-on-one reading experience or small group math. And having a teacher come into the classroom is very important. So if you know any teachers, please, We Love Educators is out there. They're really awesome, and we'd love to see more people volunteering for that. We would love to see more volunteers for Safe Routes to School. Pedestrian and traffic monitors. There is training available, so you're not just going up to, you know, parents parking in a crosswalk and asking them to move and they get mad at you or something. They will show you how to do it politely, correctly, without getting into trouble, and you don't have to be the heavy. And then also we would love some help with like social media, website stuff. If anyone has abilities for that, we would love to have some help. Now, the next best thing to volunteering and human hours and input is money, obviously. Most of the payouts for the PTA are for assemblies and staff appreciation. So the Drummond Perk assembly that happened last spring, they took the kids in the morning and for the little kids, and then they took the big kids in the afternoons, and they did like a 90-minute drumming activity out on the blacktop. Kids loved it. That's like $1,000. So, you know, we need to make some money back on to support stuff like that. Staff appreciation events are another big payout for us. We had a taco truck come. The teachers all got to have Taco Tuesday one day during Staff Appreciation Month or week in May. They got personalized like grocery bags and stuff like that. So that's something the PTA does to just kind of make school fun and support our teachers and show them how much we appreciate them because they're doing such an awesome job. So in lieu of a number of small fundraising events, this time we're trying to do a pledge drive. So we can do these like dinners out. You go to Chipotle, you spend $50, the PTA gets $5. You can go to, you know, Brooks Burger or something like that in the community. And those are fun events, but they're not big income earners for us. There's a lot of volunteer driven events that were done in the past, pre-pandemic, that take a lot of people. So like the Jogathon was a good money earner, but you need a lot of people that can count the kids' laps and tally up the money and what the donations are, and then follow up with parents, say like you promised us 10 cents a lap, and you need to give us a check, and that takes a lot of time and energy. So we're hoping to have a pledge drive. If you have kids at school, you may have received one of these letters home. I'm trying to go around to businesses, and we're trying to go to meetings like this just to get the word out, and hopefully we can get some more sponsorship. For $20, you get a PTA membership, which includes things like a monthly letter that gives you like a summary of what we're up to. For higher amounts of donations, you can get things like the money for the snack shack or a yearbook or t-shirts. We have a new cute logo now. That's really nice that we have on t-shirts that we can give you as a thank you for your donation. At the $500 level, we're looking at business partners. So if you know people in the community that have businesses that would like to have a vinyl banner printed on the 17th Street and the 19th Street side, we are going to work with a local company to have banners printed. Probably next month we can have those placed up there for $500. And I mean, if we get 2 business partners, that's a really fun assembly for the kids. So hopefully that is something that people are interested in our community. Any and all donations are accepted. It doesn't have to be digitally. It could be a check, it could be cash. We will take whatever people can provide. We appreciate it so much. So if you do have questions, my email address is oceanopta.president@gmail.com. And then we have a website updated fairly regularly if I have time. And this is what it looks like. And you can see, here's information for the pledge drive. You click there, you can donate it. It takes you to a website with, it's a PayPal website, but you can use your credit card there. You don't have to have a PayPal account. And then the website also includes things like events that we're working on, programs that we're working on. It also includes things like our goals for the year. So there's our mural project. We're hoping to have like lunch trucks at the open house in May. We're still working on how that's going to work, but we're really excited about that. A little calendar, stuff that you need to know about. Our contact information. So if you need to get a hold of me, that's where you can get a hold of me, or you can find us on Instagram. That's the only social media that we use, but we do keep it updated and try to announce like when we're having meetings, and if I remember. Sometimes I don't always remember. But with that being said, did you guys have any questions?
We do. Looks like Lucia, I saw your hand up first, and then April, you're in the queue.
Yes, thank you very much, Megan. I was a teacher. I know what it takes to be in the PTA, and so I really appreciate you being the president and having such a great enthusiasm. If you go back in your slideshow under the beautification items, can you please show us that slide of Paso Robles with the fence? Because you see, go back just a few slides, a few more. There, right there, you see, right there, all of this sidewalk had trees in it, and they have been knocked down. And I've been saying this for a long time, and nothing has happened, because there is this program, the ECOS law, that has trees for free, and is only waiting for organizations, private people, citizens to get on their website. I think we have a link on our website where you can ask for trees. There are already holes all around the Paso Robles and all around this fence that are already the holes where the trees were. So they wouldn't have to dig anything. They are just already there. All you have to do is get hold of ECOS law and ask for the trees. They will plant them. They will take care of them for the first few years. And I think it's a great idea. And I hope something happens out of it. Thank you.
That's a fantastic suggestion. I'll bring that up at the next meeting. That seems like a pretty cool group of folks. That's cool. Okay, I'll bring it up.
Hundreds of trees. So contact them. ECOS law. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Okay, April, you're up.
Hi there. My name's April. I'm a local business owner and I do bookkeeping and taxes. And so I have clients who could potentially be interested in the banners. So my question is, do you have a form that I could get, or is there something on the website, some way that I could present this to my clients?
I guess we never thought of it that far. Sorry.
I'm a business person, that's why.
Yeah, no, I'm a scientist. I don't do business. On Instagram today, I got a contact from Sylvester's, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to do it. When do you need a logo? How do you do it? And it's like, oh yeah, we got to get logos. Shoot. Right.
So maybe you and I can work together, Monday or something, and draft something up super simple to present to businesses around town with instructions on what to do, what the amount is. And then my other question on this topic, before we close this one, is how long are the banners up for? What do they get for $500?
We were thinking until the end of the year.
So schools basically just started, right? Like last month or so. So okay.
Yeah, so we would print them in November, and so they would be up until June.
Oh, that's great. For $500, that's really good. So that's all I had about the schools. The other thing I wanted to ask is, when you were talking about the murals and beautifying the area, did you or will you get a hold of the city of Grover Beach, because they're the ones who paid the artists to do those utility boxes? And they would have a list of artists if you wanted that.
That's a good resource I should look into. I'm working with, well, I've had initial email conversations with Oscar, who runs the place on PCH. He balked at the amount of money we had, which is unfortunate, but hopefully with this fundraiser we can get some more. This was pre-pledge drive.
Right.
We've been in contact with the Art Slow County, and they are very enthusiastic. They put me in touch with 3 people, one of whom specifically is in charge of murals, and they said that they would put me in contact with artists all over. So
Okay, good. That was just
if it doesn't pan out with them, which I think it would, if it doesn't pan out with them, I would hit up Grover Beach.
just because that's a public records request more than anything, because they paid with taxpayers' money. So that's a list you could get. That was all that I had. Thank you for giving your presentation. It's I'm excited to drive by the school now and see things as they progress.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay. Do you want to email me so we can get together by
Yes,
email on Monday or something?
I saw the Oceano thing real quick. The PTA is just, yeah, if you could put that thing back up again, oceanopta.com. And then
.president.
right.
At
So I can't email you through the website. It's its own Gmail account separate from
Yeah.
the web. Okay.
If anybody knows social media and websites, we should talk, but but my contact is on the website down at the bottom.
Okay, well, and I'm writing this down, but feel free to take Lucia's question. I'm
Yes.
writing this down.
Just thank you. Thank you, President, and thank you, Chairman, and thank you, everyone. I just remember this, that beautiful chacho. Go back to the chacho. Well, the chacho has been done by the Oceano Beach Community Association, which I represent in this council, and it was made by Oscar, and it was made with county money. So I don't know if, my hearing is really bad, so I'm not sure if April was saying that, but the county has a little fund for money. And we got through that, we got that grant through a special little fund that funds smaller projects to help the community. Back then, Compton was our supervisor, but I don't think we even went through Compton. There is someone, but if I were you, now we don't really have an interest in any more murals, but if I were you, I would call or contact Jimmy Paulding, who is right now, since we are an orphan district, that means we don't have a supervisor until, I don't know, 2024. He is going to be assigned in charge of our place, of Oceano. So ask him about the community fund for beautification and just small projects in Oceano, and tell him what you want to do, and I'm sure he will direct you.
That's such a good lead. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right, I got homework now.
Any
And
other,
I'll get a hold of you. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
anybody else with questions? Megan, really appreciate you coming, and even up and above beyond that, I appreciate the energy at Oceano Elementary School that has led to the PTA creating the Safe Routes to Schools committee. I think that just speaks so highly of both the PTA, the parents, the staff at the school, and their desire to be advocates for that for those safety improvements that are benefit the entire community. Safe routes to schools also means safe routes to the Central Market, or down to the Melodrama, or around the corner to your sister-in-law's house. And so
wheelchair access.
and the right and ADA appropriate access around the community. So really hats off to Oceano Elementary. I know that I've heard administrators in the Lucia Mar School District say that of all the schools in the county and all the schools in the district, that Oceano is really just the kind of the poster child of a community school. And I know that in talking with parents that they just have great pride in the school. And that's demonstrated in lots of ways. So thank you, And thank you to the PTA for your leadership in that.
Yes. Thank
Oh,
you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We love our school. Kids love it. I'm really proud of the work the teachers do, and I just hope they have fun and feel appreciated by the little thing that we can help with.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day, and thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I'm going to finish making my kids dinner, so I'm gonna leave you guys. Have a great night.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was nice. I don't know what our actually, so my idea is that we consider a donation to the PTA of Oceano Elementary School from our budget. I don't want to really take us down a path of a big discussion right now, so.
Not on the agenda.
Right. So we can agendize that for our meeting next week, and I think it would be it'd be a great display of our support of
A
the
banner would be
they
a
do.
wonderful display of our support.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's put that on next agenda. Great idea, Charles.
Okay, so next item up is review and approval of the minutes from our fourth Thursday meeting in September. And the minutes have been distributed. Is there
Public comment.
is there a
on it?
motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I second.
okay, let me get that down.
Do we
Is
wanna
there
check
any discussion in terms of corrections or additions to the minutes?
No, or did the public have any questions or comment on it? Doesn't look like it.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody not approving? Okay, the minutes are passed unanimously. Moving on to old business. First item is the Oceana Advisory Public.
Lucia's waving at you.
Yes, forgive me. Since I had a couple of calls from community members looking for the video of our last meeting, I wanted to let everybody know and be on record that because of a technical error, we were not able to record the meeting. And the meeting is not on our website. Be patient. We are the only community advisory council who even records and posts the video. So don't get upset if once we made a mistake and it wasn't recorded. Thank you for understanding.
Okay, thank you for that. So I'm going to turn this agenda item over to Vice Chair Dury.
Okay. I don't feel that you really need to recuse yourself. Like you don't have to leave if you just don't participate in it. But if you want to leave, pet your dog or whatever.
I'll mute and
Okay. So we have this on our agenda, and between the two candidates, one declined and the other, which is Charles, chose the 24th, as we all know. So the forum will be held on October 24th via Zoom, 6:30 p.m. And we already have the outline. It's something that we provided both candidates. So it will be a brief introduction of the candidates that participate, and then a statement by each candidate that chooses to participate for 5 minutes stating who they are. And then a section where we would take questions from the chat from the audience. Pertaining to what the OCSD really has to do. I mean, we don't want to talk about unemployment or the sales tax, things that we have nothing to do with, the position has nothing to do with. But, any question that has to do with anything that the OCSD does, or the candidates themselves, questions to them personally about whatever their platforms are, whoever chooses to participate. And then it will wrap up with a final statement by any candidate that chooses to participate. And I'm sorry, my screen went dark on me. And then we'd wrap up with thank you for participating. This will be available via Zoom for anybody to view at any time. And that way there's no, somebody said something, somebody didn't say something. It's all recorded, which I think is the best way to do this. And then anybody can refer back to it at any time. And we will make sure it's recorded, Lucia. So that's where we're at now. I'm in the process of making some flyers or the flyer, and that will be going out to be distributed in person. And then through the OCSD, at one point, Linda Austin and I had texted each other, and she said via text, which I have, that the VACO would promote a forum. That's what she said then. I don't know what's going on now, but those are the community entities that we would reach out to: the OCSD, the VACO, the OBCA. If you want to put it on a website or something, absolutely. And then we'll put it in, make sure the OCSD window has it, the library has it, the community center has it, the normal things we do. And then also in print and our website, on Nextdoor, on Facebook, everywhere. So that's where we're at with that. Lucia, you had a question or a question?
Yeah, well, now we have to include the PTA too. We can promote it. Maybe we can
Oh,
send,
yes,
yeah. And
that's a
maybe,
great.
yeah, ask, and they can put it on their website and just take one flyer and put it on the bulletin board in the lounge.
Very good idea. I don't have kids, so I never think of that. Thank you. That's a great
When I was
idea.
a teacher, I know people come for flyers constantly, all kind. Of course, the principal has to approve them, but any flyer can go on the bulletin board in the lounge and everything. So make sure that you send that to them and ask them. And
That's
so
a
you
good-
will post it. Where is it going to be so I can print my 20 copies out for?
When I have it ready, you all will
You
get a
will
PDF
disseminate
of
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll all have our
And
choices.
each one of us will do
However
her
you want.
his neighborhood and
That's a great idea, Lucia. Thank you.
You're
And to piggyback on that, I went to Northo, so I will make sure that North Oceano as well. They also have Oceano students, just like
exactly,
Oceano does.
exactly.
Any questions, Aline? Any
No.
comments?
No,
mean,
thank you very
I-
much. You're doing so much. Thank
Thanks
you.
for doing all this, April, and I will help also posting it on the OBCA and several other.
Right, and I know you do a lot with the Facebook page, so that will be very helpful.
Yes.
So thank you both. I appreciate your support in all of this. And I'm basically just the moderator because I'm vice chair. So I appreciate that. And Charles, if you wish to come back, we're, I think, done. There's nothing we needed to vote on, or if the public has any question, they're welcome to raise their hand if we want to take that real quick. Seeing none, this item is at rest. Charles, we're done.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Next item is curb gutters and sidewalks, flood control task force update. At this point, the only update with regards to curb gutters and sidewalks, actually to some degree is related to the Oceano Elementary School. The Safe Routes to Schools Committee voted last week to add to the Safe Routes to Schools plan for Oceano Elementary the a ask to Caltrans to build the needed 250 feet of sidewalk on the north side of the train overpass, which would, if that was built with a guardrail, would give us a complete sidewalk route to the beach for inland Oceano if it is coupled with a pedestrian controlled crosswalk on Highway 1. So this is a relatively small project. It's actually a project that if we can get some changes in the rules, that OCSD would be able to apply for. The problem with being both an orphan and a unincorporated area of the county is that as an advisory council, I mean, we know our lane. We know that we just provide advice and work for the betterment of the community, but we don't have authority to apply for grants. And so, and I know that that is an issue that April has certainly spoken passionately to in terms of the advantages of becoming a nonprofit organization. You know, maybe that is something we need to look at again. But there's monies for small projects within SLOCOG and other agencies. But Caltrans has heart for Oceano. They want to do what they can to help us. And I think that putting together, working with the elementary school, the Safe Routes to School program there and the district, we can, in collaboration, getting other, like the VACO Advisory Council, getting OCSD to support that in, you know, in spirit, we may be able to find the money for that, in the big picture, relatively small project that, for really, I think the first time in Oceano history, would give inland Oceano residents a safe route to the beach. So that's really the update right now, and happy to answer any questions about curbs, gutters, sidewalks, flood control task force that anybody might have. So now would be the time to raise your hand. If you're on your phone, use *6. Seeing no hands, thank you, everybody. We will move on to the vacation rental ordinance update. And we have, over the last 2 months, spent quite a bit of time on this with 2 public meetings. And we have, at our last meeting, agreed on some changes, the council members, in terms of moving forward. One important one is to the exact statement that, you know, we have these 2 sections. We have the coastal zone and the inland zone. And so what we decided to do was to, for the record, indicate that all regulations of vacation rentals in the coastal zone be applied to vacation rentals in the inland zone of Oceano. And we also agreed that on the issue of enforcement, which is very important to everybody, of vacation rental, you know, rules, that we were going to write up a statement, and April has taken the lead on that, to express to the county that this is a countywide issue and that we didn't really feel it was within our wheelhouse to, you know, draft legislation in terms of code enforcement, but that we would put together ideas that we have come across in the work that we've done. And April, I don't want to presume any more about in terms of what you're doing with this. So I'll just turn it over to you to kind of finish off that piece of the report.
So because that meeting wasn't eventually recorded, which is what I was going to go back to and use the minutia of. So I'm drafting it, and then I want it to come back to us one more time to make sure it's exactly what we all agreed on, because I didn't remember every single word and don't have now the recording. We need the recordings too. It's not just for the public. We use them as well. So that's where we're at that point. But that, not to make any excuses, but it's what we call second tax season in my industry. So every tax return that wasn't filed on time was filed with an extension for October 15th. So I'm under that gun right now. So I will deal with this after October 17th.
Thank you. One other item about the vacation rental ordinance that we changed. We heard from vacation rental owners in Oceano that the limitation of 4 rentals per month, they thought was too low. And we have recommended that be raised to 6 rentals a month.
8.
8. Was it 8?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'll have to go
Yeah.
back and check my notes on that.
I feel like it was
That's-
6 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, my recollection was 8.
Yes.
Okay.
all right.
Thank you.
And
2-2. Lean, what do you say?
and okay, Aline, I'm sorry, Aline, did you have a comment?
I'm not sure exactly. I couldn't hear what April was.
Oh, we were trying to determine what we had finally decided on the number of rental times per month. Charles and I thought we remembered it as 6, and Sean, who attended the meeting, and Lucia remembered it as 8. So I was
Yes.
wondering what
Oh,
you remember.
I don't remember. I just remember that I'm like for giving them more.
Right.
More than the
I
county.
know that
It's
I
just-
think we said 10 was too much.
Yeah, 10's too much.
And so maybe 8 was what we
Yeah,
compromised on.
what the county wants is just not good for business, I don't think, you know.
Right. We knew we didn't want 4.
Mhm.
Well, it also sounds like the county doesn't enforce it.
No.
At least I don't remember any vacation rental owners saying that they had been dinged by the county for renting their place out too many.
Or for submitting too much TOT.
Exactly. That's the bottom line. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah. Stop sending us all of that money.
Right?
Okay.
Uh,
Let's open it up for public comment on the vacation rental ordinance. And please raise your hand if you would like to speak to this. I see one hand at this point, Lucia.
Yes, I think one other, just for so if there is a public comment, they know we're talking about. I know that Nell and Maury are here. We also finally decided how many where the cap. We wanted the cap, right? I think we finalized those numbers, and I think that we agreed to 100 for the coast and 30 for the inland.
Mhm.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, yes, Sean, go ahead.
Yep, and I wanted to reaffirm, I think what I've said previously, how much I appreciate the collaborative nature of working through this with you all. And just as a question or just as a matter of kind of procedure, wondering kind of when the revised document then is presented, or kind of what the next steps are. Is it presented here? You guys revise it, you present it here, and then we have another public meeting, and then it goes on to the planning commission, or just appreciate a little bit of clarity into the process, if you don't mind.
So the basic process is that we have taken the public input and continue to take public input in revising this document, and we will probably, certainly by the end of November, have it finalized and ready to submit to the county planning department. Because we tend to be pretty inclusive and participatory, all of these changes that we made will be brought up at our first meeting in November. We will take public comment on them, and we will have a finalized document on our second meeting of November that we will be voting on this finalized document to approve or disapprove submitting it to the county as our proposed vacation rental ordinance. And then at that point, Sean, it goes into the county process, and there will be the county planner that's assigned to it will go over it with a fine tooth comb. They'll probably be getting back to us on, things that they think are a problem or that they want changed. And eventually, if the planning department recommends it moving forward, it will be scheduled for a planning commission meeting. That will be a public meeting. That will be a place anybody can come and make their comments, pro, con, or neutral about the proposed ordinance for Oceano. And ultimately, the planning commission will make a decision. That decision can be appealed by any party to the board of supervisors, where go through the same process again, and the board of supervisors would make a final decision. That's that.
Thank you, Chairman. Yep, that's what I was looking for. Thank you, Chairman Varney, and thank you all again for your time and attention to this matter.
Mhm. Right. Okay. Thank you, Sean, for your attention to it. Maury, please unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm trying to get a gauge on the timeline, and I heard what you just said. That's helpful. I feel like there's probably 120-ish people that hold these licenses in all of Oceano, including the coastal and inland, right? 120 to 130 currently.
Probably not that many as far as our records show.
Okay,
Yeah,
so max, let's just say, just overshooting it. And I just found out, how long have you guys been working on this? Has it been a while or is it new?
A year.
Okay, so I just found out about this in August, and any of the people, and I have a property in Oceano, on the coastal side. Actually I have two. One is with a friend of mine, but regardless, we just found out about this in August, and I have since been talking to neighbors, and at least on the coastal side, very few people know. I think it's a super small percentage of people who know about this. I've had, a lot of people concerned about many of the pieces of it. So long story short, can we get notice? Is there a way to do an outreach to make these homeowners aware so that we can be present at the next meeting, or do I need to kind of do boots on the ground and do that myself? Because there's a lot of people who feel a lot of ways. And I think that the input of these owners might be really helpful to you, not to fight it necessarily, but you might find you've got a whole bunch of people who have positive feedback and things to offer in terms of, some of if there are issues that they could potentially handle them being right there. So I don't want to go off on a tangent, but can we get everybody notified so that there can be, these homeowners can be on this call?
Well, that's a good question. Our method of communicating with the public has been our website, our posted agendas, and we did take extra steps to print up posters for the hearings that we had, the public hearings on the vacation ordinance, and posted them both on the coastal and the inland side. We had, I think, all total at our face-to-face meeting and our Zoom meeting, a total of about 43 people who showed up, most of whom were vacation rental owners, most of them from the coastal side of Oceano. And, we spent, a couple of hours in each of those meetings getting feedback.
Well, I heard a few people in the past meetings, but I 40 was, okay. I don't know that maybe they're just not the ones that I don't know. I thought Lucia had said that she might have hand delivered to some neighbors in Oceano these flyers, but we didn't get any on the coastal side.
Mhm. So we don't really have, I mean, I don't know about our resources in terms of, paying for postage to, 100 people for this. We get no money from the county to operate. And so we rely on the actual, well, the devices that we utilized with what we worked with.
Well,
And hoping that that interest group and the agencies that do vacation rentals would be communicating among themselves that hey, this is an issue that we've had on our agenda for a year and have been working on.
yeah, I just think that there's not a lot of attendance and there wasn't any, it was very, it wasn't known.
Okay, all right.
And
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah.
There are other council members that want to make comments. So I'll start with April, then I'll go to Lucia and then to Elaine. April.
Hi there. Was it Maury?
it's Mari.
Murray. Hi there. I'm April. I'm a resident of Oceano. To answer your question about outreach, we have 2 advisory councils in Oceano itself, and almost every unincorporated area has advisory councils. That the community isn't aware of that is a difficult issue that all advisory councils face. You may not have realized it in our Zoom meeting, we had another set of attendees. So overall, that's where Charles got that number from, was in-person attendees. And then we had another meeting that was in Zoom, that was another set of attendees for the most part. Sean, attended both, but for the most part, it was different sets. So we can only do so much in community outreach, and we do the best that we can with the limited number of people that we have, the resources that we have. But it's really, I would advise that every resident of a community, whether it's in another state like Colorado or it's here locally, that you would know where to learn information like that. So know that there's an advisory council called VACO and follow their agendas. Know that there's an advisory council called Oceano's Advisory Council and follow their agendas. Know that the OCSD meets and follow their agendas. And then that way, all community members are informed of what's going on in the community. That's just something that would also help, is that if you're getting the word out to your community, local people about this ordinance, also give them the information that, hey, did you know there are advisory councils? Let's check their meetings once a month or look at their agendas, etc. So that's just an advice I would give. We did an extensive amount of reaching out to the community. We even attended OCSD meetings and told them about our agendas, like what we had, what was going on, inviting the public to the OCSD meetings even. So I don't know what more we could do other than knock on every single door, and no one wants anybody to knock on their doors at all. That's just, nobody wants that. So that's the best I can say at this point.
Well, I appreciate that. And I do think that it's difficult to get people tuned in to advisory committees in general. I mean, city council meetings, the list goes on. People don't attend. I think that we're lacking in being able to let the right people know that something directly affects them of an issue that they would care deeply about. And again, I think I have a lot of thoughts about it and I can share it another time, but I think you could get a lot of help from at least the homeowners on the coastal side that would, because those are the ones that I know the most, that would really assist in some of the problems that I've heard you guys have, some of the concerns. So I'll make it my duty then to get a letter or something. Maybe Lucia, if you've got a flyer, if anybody has anything they want to email me, I will mail it to all of the homeowners down there to let them know so that they can get on to November's. You said it's the second, third, your first meeting in November?
it'll be both meetings in November. We'll be dealing with it.
But you're kind of finalizing it in the second meeting in November.
That's when we'll be voting on it, I anticipate. Mhm.
And what's an email for you, Maury?
MAU, here, I'll just pop it in the chat.
Thank
Oh,
you.
perfect.
It's Mari.
That's-
Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, all
okay,
right.
Lucia, go.
There are some other people. Don't leave.
I want to thank you, Maury, for participating very much. And I personally distributed about 40 notices, and you're right. I did most of them around my neighborhood. I did them in Halcyon at the co-housing. I did them on. I personally didn't go on the Strand, and I don't know if any other member did. I did the neighbor around me. Remember, Maury, they were all volunteers. They were doing this on our own time and with our own money. And I would suggest that I know you're very good at take good caretaker of your properties. I go by them on my walks and they look beautiful. So I appreciate your presence. You be in charge of keeping the owners, informed, not necessarily to oppose us or to, but to collaborate with us, to tell us what you want. And if you and you be the one who is the liaison between us and the Strand and the beach community. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucia.
You're welcome.
Okay, Elaine, you're up.
Did you say me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to add, also assure Maury that we did our best. I did my best on social media. It was posted on 4 different Facebook pages, including the OCSD. And also a notice was placed outside on the window. Our meeting there at the OCSD room was very well attended with over 30 people. And I would have to say probably 99% of them were from the Strand area. I was surprised at how they were so receptive. They were so wanting to know the information and how helpful that it was for us to have them. It was 99% positive. They want something. They realize that it's best to have control than to get things out of control, and it's for their best interest. We do want Oceano vacation rental owners to feel happy and proud about the vacation rentals, and we know they're important, and we are not for getting rid of them. We're for regulating them just like every other community is, and making them better and stronger. And that's about it.
Thank you. That was great, Aline. Thank you.
I'll add on to that we did get, it was very valuable to us, the public comment that we got, and we modified a number of elements. Another thing that was very clear, and I think that was of benefit to the vacation rental owners, was that the rules that policies and procedures that we are proposing are basically the existing county and coastal commission policies and procedures for the regulation of vacation rentals in the coastal zone and in unincorporated areas of the county. And people were, a number of people expressed like, well, this, you guys can't, why are you putting this rule in, or why are you putting that rule in? And it's like, we went, whoa, wait a minute. We're not putting in the rules. These are the rules that you should be living by in your vacation rentals. And it was like, we realized that a whole lot of vacation rental owners are not very educated about the rules that they're supposed to be following in terms of their vacation rentals. And so it was a bit of the situation where it's like kill the messenger, and that we're just, we're informing you of here are the rules that exist. We want these rules by and large enforced in our community, because we're the last community in the coastal zone that doesn't have vacation rental ordinance in place. Go ahead, Mari, you want to respond?
Yeah, and I agree with that. I am aware of the current ordinances and don't, yes, I am a rules and order person. I want, I am. But I think the things that I'm concerned about and that some of the other property owners are concerned about are the additions, which are things, if the property sells, then the license, you have to get back in line. When you buy a property, and I just want to say, I am not wealthy. I cannot not work. I don't know if I'll ever be able to retire. This is an investment we made, and it doesn't make money. It just, it takes care of itself for now, but it doesn't make money. But what happens is if you take the ability to, to sell the property to somebody else down the road and they cannot get a license, and I paid for a property at a premium that because of the license, that's a giant financial, that would ruin us, honestly, because we're not. And so I think one of the biggest problems is the fact that the license would not be able to be used in the same way. And so we purchased something for a certain use, but that use will die with either us or a sale for, much less than what we paid for it. So that's a concern. All the other things I can totally live with, and they all make sense. I think it's just the it's capping. Yeah, sure.
Can I add to that? Just I just want to respond to this last thing that you said, because this is something that Lucia has brought to our attention as well, that property owners are saying this. And I do taxes and bookkeeping for a living, so I deal with the government a lot. A business license isn't transferable.
Right.
The minor use permit that's attached to your land that allows it to be a vacation rental, that will stay with the land no matter who owns it. But a business license that's renewed on an annual basis isn't something that's transferable anyway.
I
If
understand.
I
I know how that
your
works.
real estate business and you had a business license, I don't get to just get your business license. I have to have my own business license. That's the difference.
But it's something that if there's a cap on it, then all of a sudden the property cannot be used as a vacation rental if the new owner has to stand in line to get a new license. I know they're not transferable.
Right.
So that's just
Right.
Well, there is going to be a cap if, the desires of this council are accepted by the county.
So all the ones along the coastline have caps on them. We're the only one that doesn't, because we've never tried to enforce anything before. But San Simeon or all the other places that have them, wherever that may be, San Simeon or other unincorporated areas, they have caps on theirs.
So let's talk about Avila as an example. So in Avila, if you buy a property that has a vacation license on it currently and the use permit, obviously they have to have that first. If you purchase that property, you don't have to go stand back in line because somebody else came up who was waiting in line. Like, that property has probably been sold, if you look at the past several transactions, at a price that somebody would pay to be using as a business as well. So it's going to crush people who have bought things for that purpose and can't sell them at the same caliber that they purchased them in. So right. I would like to see, and I don't, I've done some research, but what do you have an example of one that has a cap, and then they have, basically there's a line and the new owner has to go to the back of the line, the way you guys have described it?
Well, I can tell you that there's a website called, if you just do a Google search for San Luis Obispo County business license search, it will pull up a county website for the auditor controller. And on that, there is a link that says business license view. And in that, I'm not pulling it up because it will stop me from being able to participate more in this because of the internet. But there is a section that says view coastal, whatever, vacation rental rules. for other communities. And so go look there. And I think there's 8, I can't remember off the top of my head. But there are ways, you mean, just contact the county and ask them which unincorporated areas have their own vacation rental rules. And they'll tell you, and they'll give you research or links to go find that stuff for sure.
It doesn't, and I have read them, but they don't state once you die or sell your house, if there's a waiting list, then this property, you know, it does not pare it down like that at all. And so
Right, I get it.
Excuse me,
where
I
all-
needed to interject in this conversation because I'm still very confused and I keep asking questions, and still in this debate, it's not really clear. Now, I wanted to know the standing regulations, not what we suggest. What do the standing regulations of the county say about transferring the license when when an owner dies or sells the property? How does it stand right now?
It doesn't state that.
It doesn't say anything.
Mm-mm. Because there's no cap on the county level. There's no caps at all, so they don't address
There
it
are
at
no
all.
caps.
But-
So
And so
but-
we couldn't even address it in ours, but having a cap, as she's explaining, puts any person to the back of the line because licenses are not
Right.
transferable.
excuse me. So Maury, when you bought this property, did you have to, so you bought also the license?
no, they're not transferable. What
Right.
happens
So
is
you had to apply for it.
you apply for it, right? And it's, as long as the property doesn't have violations, as long as there are no use permit
So
violations.
nothing is gonna change. The only thing is gonna change is that if all the licenses are being taken, you will have to wait for your place in
Back of
line.
the line.
I got
Exactly.
it. Thank God, goddess, I got it.
But I couldn't see
Smart.
any other counties as an example, or I'm sorry, any unincorporated areas that have a cap that spell out how it works. And is there something like that that exists?
I think what's gonna happen is ours wouldn't even explain that. That would just be the logical conclusion. We wouldn't even have to say, you go to the back of the line. The county itself would not just automatically rubber stamp a license, a business license, because it's a new owner. They would have to go through the process. And at that point, the county would go, okay, how many rentals do we have in the coastal zone? We have a cap of 100 or whatever we decided. And this is 101. So they will be next in line. But think about it this way, if the cap hasn't even been met, Mari, and you sell, so now your license is gone. So now there's one more open space, correct?
Right?
Then your owner could potentially be the next person in line if the cap hasn't even been met. And we're not even near the cap at this point on the coastal side.
I feel like we are. And I also feel like that, two things. First of all, and this is just a suggestion. You're right what you just said, April, about, I don't think we have to talk about that. Because if that is the case on these other unincorporated areas, and they're not spelling it out, what I've heard from you guys in your meetings and listening to it, it's like so offensive the way that it comes across. You guys don't even have to talk about that part. You probably,
Right.
because that's, to me, it feels like
It's the secret that's in the like each individual's rules. That's the secret.
and I get that. But it feels like a right's being taken away. And it feels
Right.
like, I'll just be honest with you, I'm a realtor in California and Colorado.
I know.
If a property has a certain use, it's going to sell for more.
Mhm.
I was born and raised there, April. I didn't have any friends or anybody that I knew that lived on the coastal side down there. I mean, it's never been like just a place where families were raised. And
No,
so-
I know. I'm from here too. I know.
Right. So I don't know if 100, honestly, if there's a way to even look at it in a more microscopic way of the homes along Strand and the perpendicular streets that shoot off of Strand, as how many homes are there, because truly if you can, you know, include most of them, if not all of them, in whatever the cap is, there's probably not, if there is now 100 homes there, there's got to be 90 licenses. That, and again, I don't know how many homes there are, but I think that I just think that it's the majority of them are sold at the same, in the same price ranges, because of the fact that those owners, and I don't think a lot of them have a whole ton of money. I think it's their second home and they come and stay there and then they rent it out while they're not, you know, not there. But I think they have to have a similar sale price and the income, because I'm not going to sell it. If I'm not going to sell one of those houses for $1.5 million, or I'm not going to buy one and live there year round. And I'm not going to pay $1.5 million or 2 million or whatever to just go visit it and not have, not be able to rent it out. I mean, it'll just crush the people who've already purchased, and it's a domino effect. So if that's the personality of those houses that are right by the beach, then why can't we allow it to stay that way and it not be, you know, problematic?
So well, I'd like to make a comment here that at the current situation is that no vacation rental in the coastal zone is threatened by anything that we're doing in terms of continuing to be a vacation rental. I am concerned about your comment that unless a owner of a vacation rental has the capacity to sell it as a vacation rental, and by virtue of that, experience a higher return on investment compared to the house next door that's sold that is not a vacation rental, that if you bought that house knowing that when you sold it, the vacation rental license didn't go with it, and you also made a business decision to use it as a vacation rental and you're not making any money on it, I mean, as a business person, you made a poor business decision and it's not profitable for you. Why is it our responsibility to make sure that you get a profit out of it from a decision that maybe wasn't a very good one?
Are you asking,
hypothetically here?
are you asking for the people who purchase? So it's whatever use it is. You want to call it a vacation rental, call it a restaurant. If somebody invests in something and they depend on the income to be able to make it work and they buy it at a premium, I don't think it's, I think that they're absolutely, you know, it's obvious that they would expect to be able to sell it as at the same use and at the same.
Well, but you know that that's not, you said that you knew that that wasn't the rule, that the vacation rental license does not go with the property, and that it was with the person who owns it.
Right, but it's expected, it's a stamp. It's a process, but it's not a, oh, I may not be able to get one. Anybody can apply for one and get one right now, as long as there's no violations on the property. Like it's 100% approval, and it's just to pay the amount of money, $44, whatever it is, and it's done. So yeah, it was, I would not probably have invested what we did if I thought that I couldn't turn around and sell it at the same use. I love the property and I don't want, you know, I'm not trying to sell it, but I know that my entire retirement is in it. And so if I think, well, shit, I may not be able to sell it in 5 years because this whole community may, you know, it may be different in terms of whether or not somebody is able to get a license can affect property values.
Right. Well, it will be different. Definitely. And it's different in every community, coastal community in the county that has adopted a vacation rental ordinance because of the negative impacts of vacation rentals on their community. The lack of affordable housing for locals, the lack of even expensive housing for locals who
Do you
want to
think
do
there's
that.
any affordable
The-
housing right there? There's not any.
The impacts of living in a neighborhood where there are vacation hotels in your single family resident neighborhood, and the disruption that creates, the garbage, the water use. I mean, all of the litany. As a realtor, I'm sure you're aware of the litany of issues that people have with vacation rentals in their neighborhoods. I mean, it's
And I
a
would just real quick like
it's
to add
a
voting.
plague. It's a plague on so many communities, I mean, around the world. So this isn't like something unique. This isn't something special that we're doing. We're behind the ball here. And for vacation rental owners in Oceano, and I don't mean to sound dispassionate about this, but if you're not aware of this issue and the rising tide of concern and criticism for vacation rentals, then I'd say you haven't been paying attention to, what's going on in the real world.
You might be talking about the inland area, but I don't think that applies to my neighbors. And I don't know what kind of mayhem is going on down there, because it is extremely peaceful. And I hear there may be parking issues on McCarthy every once in a while, but it's, and I have plenty of Ring cameras down there too. I don't know what this is all about, and nobody does.
Yeah,
So-
I have said in previous meetings, this is Sean, I'm sorry, that at least out here on the Strand, the vacation rentals are among the best maintained properties on the Strand. And if you want to find dilapidated properties with broken down cars parked on the streets, which nobody knows who maintains, look to the long-term rentals.
Mhm.
So respectfully, Chairman Varney, to characterize vacation rentals as a plague is a little extreme.
I agree. I apologize for that. I want to,
I'll just add one more.
if there's anything new somebody wants to add to this, please do so, and then I want to move on.
Maury, do you want to say one more thing, or would you like me to say one more thing? It's
Just
your
one.
choice.
I think you'll
Mine's
go.
super simple, so if you'd like, I can go.
I'll just say it really quick. As a
Okay.
realtor, there are not affordable houses on the beach. There aren't. You're not going to find any of those homes down there that when you say affordable housing, what you mean, it's not going to end up there. And that's all I have to say. So thank you.
Thank you, Maury. I just wanted to add that one of the considerations that the OAC took into account, and something that I'm very passionate about, is when our town is filled with vacation rentals and not locals, whether they own the rich houses or the not rich houses, but when they're not locals and they live in another state or another county, they're not voting here, they're not attending OCSD meetings, they're not attending OAC meetings, they're not attending VACO meetings. So our community suffers from the lack of interest because vacationers don't care that there's a Charles Varney sign for election or a Steve Montez sign for election. They don't care about our community because they're here to vacation. So the OAC cares about our community, whether the house is $1 million house or $100,000 house. It's all within our community, and we want the best for our community. And this is part of the issue. That's what I'd like to add to it.
Aline?
Yeah, no, I'd also like to add, I think it was briefly touched on, that every vacation rental that exists will be grandfathered in. There won't be any that will be kicked out because we are, you're above the cap. You did state that there are some that aren't, licensed. Well, that'll be their loss. They should be complying with the law. They should have the permit and the business license. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's almost like you're crying before you got hit. We're doing our best to keep all the vacation rentals that exist. And like you said, the permit runs with the land. The business license doesn't. So I would do some homework on how other communities are dealing with it. And that's probably what's going to happen here. We're not changing the law. We're just wanting what every other community has, and that is regulate the vacation rentals so that it's a win-win for everybody.
All right, so are there any more public comments?
I think Nell wants to figure out how to raise her hand.
Oh, well, how do you do it?
You're looking at the bottom of your screen.
Okay, thank you, April. What do I do?
We
You
can
wanna
hear
do-
you, you're fine. Just go ahead and.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
The
You can-
reactions.
Oh, oh, thank you. Okay. Well, good that we are addressing this issue. I would like to know the history of whose idea it was to do all these things, to have a vacation rental ordinance in Oceano, and when, and why. Do we have any history on that? And I'll just move on. But I would like the answer to that at some point. And in terms of the why, I think related to that are, what were the negative impacts? What is the research on it, what we're doing here, affecting housing in any way? And what kinds of problems are there? And give me the litany that caused this, for you all to be there. And then the other thing is the lack of representation. It's wonderful that you are there, Sean. I was happy to see somebody that was actually a vacation rental owner speak out. And when you were floating around a certain question, you said, well, I could go with 8. And you said, okay, 8. But gosh, look at all the people who've been left out of the conversation. For example, I received no notice. Nothing was given to anybody who have the vacation rentals on the Strand, who bring in the vast majority of the revenue for our county that does so many things. It's not, I mean, this is big money for the tax, the TOT, the transit occupancy tax, is a wonderful asset. It brings in jobs and helps businesses, and you have lots of people, cleaning people, people who do handyman work. You have to buy things. You have to, as Glenda Guyton, Linda's mother told me years ago when she helped me get my vacation rentals. She said, well, now, Neil, what you have to do is you have to get a license. I'm number 4 in the county. There are thousands and thousands of vacation rental licenses. I'm number 4. But she said, you're going to have a colander, and you're going to have mattress pads. But anyway, these are things that profit business, because you have to furnish and equip, write down everything. You have to pay the utilities. You have to, keep the upkeep going. So we need to be represented, and I am thrilled that Mari is going to be the liaison, and I hope that was a vote or some kind of an approval for that, for vacation rentals. And of course, Sean, we want you, we want everybody, but I am a scientist, and I like data, and I like research. Also, I know that you guys are wonderful people, but just listening to how you have labeled vacation rental owners, it hurt me. It hurt me that you call me privileged. I have worked for everything. I want to leave this to my heirs. I've worked for it all my life. Nobody gave me anything. I'm not a mafia person. I'm not part of the mob. I'm not. So, and also, it's just the idea that there's this negative impression of vacation rental owners. We are your businesses, just like any other business, and we try very hard. People come from all over California, and if you look at county regulations, and I'd like to know what they are. Question number 2: can I please get all the county regulations that you know of about vacation rentals that pertain to Oceano? because there are none that I am aware of. Okay, that's question number 2 for you to think about, if you would please. And the other one is state regulations. Okay, thank you very much, April. State regulations, the Coastal Act actually requires this. You can't just say we're going to not have places for people to stay from Bakersfield or wherever. It's our law. It's called the Coastal Act. Thank you. Oh, can I keep talking a little bit? Okay. Let's see. This generational wealth thing is very disturbing to me. Let's say that Jocko's, the owner dies, and you've decided you don't want any more restaurants in Napomo. Well, then Jocko's would just not ever be a restaurant again, because it wouldn't be able to get back on the list. So the answer, the solution to all of this, thank you. And I need 5 seconds. Grandfather in all of the people who now have licenses and see how that pans out. Just think it through. I think it would answer a lot of questions for a lot of people. Thank you.
All right, is there any other public comment? And hearing none, I'm going to close public comment. Are there any final comments any council members want to make before we move on?
I think that, Charles, you can respond, as I think you could represent this very well and explain anything if you wish to. I feel like we explained 1,000 things in this meeting already, and in the 8 meetings we've had before. Apparently Nell's been able to listen to our prior meetings instead of attend them when she talks about generational wealth and the privileged, because that's nothing we talked about in this meeting today. So clearly Nell has listened to our meetings. That she didn't participate, I'm sorry, but clearly we held them. So all of those answers that Nell has have been in our meetings, have been addressed in all of our meetings, which are recorded and up available through our website. And the county can answer any questions that you have on a county level. And we've adhered to all things through the Coastal Commission, through the county, etc. We're not rogue on our own, 5, 7, 12 people making all decisions for Oceano as a brute force. That isn't what we're doing here. This is not reinventing the wheel. That so many other communities across the country, as well as unincorporated areas along our own coastline within San Luis Obispo County, have gone through this process. This isn't against anybody.
So yeah, I'm not going to take the time in this meeting to try and answer all of Nell's questions, but in a previous private conversation I had with her, I did refer her to our website, to the documents that are there, to Title 21 and Title 22 of the general plan, where all of this is laid out and stuff, and then to the recordings of our meetings as well. That with a bit of just a bit of research that Nell can educate herself on all of those conditions and be more informed when she comes back for November meetings when we look at this again. So with that, I'm going to close this item on the agenda. We'll move on to the next item, which is the program to remove abandoned and inoperable motor vehicles in the OCSD service area. There has been a bit more further discussion with the Highway Patrol on this topic in terms of some processes where vehicles that have not been moved for 72 hours are reported to the Highway Patrol. In this case, I think we're talking more about vehicles that have not been moved, sometimes for years or months. And it's also come up in some pushback to the sidewalk and flood control grant that OAC, Lucia Mar School District, and SLOCOG are still moving forward with for 2024, that it could impact parking in the community, which there is a potential for, and that needs to be taken into account. But the number of inoperable or just basically stored parts cars or junker cars, or I don't know, or trailers or
Family
whatever.
vehicle cars, yes.
So they're just parked there, taking up space, and for, you know, operable cars to park. So that's something that you know, needs to be taken into account. And I have not followed up on what I said I would do last time, which was to contact other towing companies that wanted to get involved in the free service to Oceano of towing inoperable vehicles to a wrecking yard, of course, with the owner's permission. So hopefully between now and our next meeting, I'll have more time to get some more information on that. And really, this is something that needs to be, of course, well publicized in the community. It needs to be, I think, presented as a service and a benefit to the community. And certainly that OCSD, as the manager of waste management in the community, should have a vested interest in, and hopefully would become a lead agency for that service, as they are now with their 311 call to, you know, pick up abandoned couches, beds, and other things that are left out on the streets in Oceano.
And plus the trash company itself has vouchers for residents that can request the trash to come pick up to 5 items at a time twice a year. And the OCSD helps manage that as well. So
Right,
that's definitely within their purview.
right. So any comments on that item for the agenda?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, moving on to council member and officers report. Lucia, thank you for circulating your treasurer's report for people that not receive that. Could you just briefly give us the treasurer's report?
Just a minute, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Do we want to move on to someone else's
Yeah,
report?
let's go on to the Oceano Beach. Well, that she's, how about the
Yeah.
Oceano OCSD report?
OCSD.
That would be me. Okay, we did meet on the 28th. It was a short, brief meeting. We lowered, well, we gave like a credit or of $215 for someone that had an excessive water bill, so that they could purchase a device that would let them know if there was like a leak in their home water. These individuals, this couple, they have a second home here in Oceano, and they got a large water bill, and we think it was maybe the flap in the toilet tank that sometimes doesn't sit back, and if you're not there at home, then it keeps on running. So there's a device, I forget what it's called, that you could actually put on, I'm not sure where, on the toilet or somewhere in the house, where it would alert you. So we gave them credit for them to purchase that. We also voted to have a special meeting to fill in the vacancy, Cynthia Rapogle's vacancy, which is an at-large vacancy. If you recall, she resigned, and so she's not, that vacancy for that seat is not a district, but it's an at-large. And so we voted to have a special meeting for 2 individuals. And on the 6th, we had that meeting. We interviewed 2 people there, and we chose Beverly Joyce Sensen. So she's a community member here. I think she said she's lived, she just recently moved to Oceano like 3 years ago, but she's been in the area for a while. I think she said, I'm not sure if she said 12 years or so. Seems like a very nice lady. So we look forward to having and welcoming her. That's about it.
April?
I wanted to just clarify real quick for the community, if they, maybe no one might know this, that when you choose one of these people or even any other empty seat, that's all publicly viewed and that never goes to closed session for any decision-making process. So that's something I think people should understand, is this is all done in the public for people to participate and be a part of, and that the directors never go to closed session to choose any person in this capacity. I know that when I did it as well back in, I think it was May, when Cynthia's spot was up, and you were looking for someone for an interim, 3 of us volunteered. We never ran against each other or were opposing each other. 3 of us volunteered, just like currently 2 people volunteered for the position. So I just not sure the public is aware of that. And I appreciate that the council or the OCSD has to work to find somebody. It's not easy to pick 2 people who are willing to try, and you got to pick one of them just as best as you can. So that was all.
So, pardon me, Aline, I just want to add I think that you just inadvertently misspoke. You said that you were interviewing people to appoint for the unexpired term of office of Cynthia Raplogel, but actually you were appointing somebody to be director for District 3,
Right.
which nobody applied to run for.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm thinking about your seat. Yes, exactly. I'm sorry about that. Yes, I did. Yeah, I was a big mistake right there. Yes, it was, no one ran for District 3. There was just no one put in for it. So we had to reach out to the community. The OCSD sent out letters to every voting member in that District 3, asking them, informing them, and then asking them if they to send it back if they were interested. So we got 2 people.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I'm ready with the numbers.
Yes, go ahead, Lucia.
Yes, I circulated, but just for the record for everybody, as per August 31st, our balance is $1,767.36. We paid for webmaster and we paid for Zoom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a OBCA?
Yes,
report?
very briefly, OBCA, Oceano Beach Community Association, is working on bringing the the Central Coastal Commission staff to Oceano to tour the airport and to meet with the council and the Oceano Beach Community Association. Then the Oceano Beach Community Association is working with the University of Irvine on the motion to intervene in the lawsuit brought by Friends of Oceano Dunes against the Coastal Commission for the banning of motor vehicles on our beach. And the Oceano Beach Community Association is also working with the Deputy Attorney General on the lawsuit brought by the Friends of Oceano Dunes against the state parks and the Coastal Commission for claiming historical rights to driving on our beach and dunes. So we are doing a lot of work.
All right, thank you for that. So we're at any further items that council members want to bring up or have input on, or final information that they want to share.
There was a question in the chat if you were interested in participating in that or bringing that up. The person who posed the question left, so I don't know what, if any attention you want to give it to it, but I'm certainly not shirking from it.
I think that that these issues are out of order in terms of this meeting and are not relevant for discussion.
Besides, the person who brought up the question has left. So
Right.
So that's basically my decision on that.
Okay.
thank you.
You're the chair.
The, so for next agenda, new item would be a possible donation to the Oceano, to the Oceano Elementary School PTA. That's the only thing I have. I think every one of our old business items will be continued. And that being said, I think we have reached the end of our meeting at 8:09, unless there are other additional comments. I'd like to hear a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Pardon me. Thank you very much. Thank you to the public, everybody that came and shared their points of view.
Everyone who will be watching this on YouTube, because we definitely get views there as well.
Right. Okay. So thank you, everybody. See you in November.
That's right.
Some of
Goodbye.
you sooner.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Come on.